Ophanim more mysterious, angels or divine mechanism. The mystery behind the throne. Have you ever opened the Bible, read a passage, and got stuck? Like, okay, is this really from God? What did I just see? Because there's a vision in Ezekiel chapter 1 that doesn't just sound spiritual, it sounds like a reality check. Imagine the scene. A dark cloud coming from the north, as if the sky were being pulled by a magnet. Lightning cutting through the darkness, and a fire pulsating inside, as if the cloud were alive. And Ezekiel tries to find human words for something that seems beyond our vocabulary, something like gleaming metal in the midst of the fire. It's as if he were saying, I have no way to explain, but I swear I saw it. And at the center of it all, Ezekiel sees beings that have human form, but are not human. And if I tell you that the most mysterious part isn't the creatures, it's the wheels. Wheels within wheels. Wheels filled with eyes. Wheels that move as if they had a will of their own. And the most absurd, all of this. Carrying the image of a throne. So the inevitable question is, what did Ezekiel see? A metaphor, a symbolic vision, or a spiritual portrait of something so real it seems like technology to our modern minds? Before any interpretation, remember this. Ezekiel is in exile. He's not in Jerusalem. He's not in the temple. He's not in normal life. He's far away, in a strange land, among a humiliated, defeated, displaced people. And exile does something to the soul. It whispers, God stayed there. You stayed here. God is with the strong. You are with the broken. God is in the temple. You are outside. And it is precisely there, outside, that the vision comes. As if God were responding without words. You may be far away, but I am not. I am not a God tied to an address. Then Ezekiel begins to describe the indescribable using familiar terms. He says he saw 4 living beings. They had a form that resembled the human, but each had 4 faces, a human face, a lion's face, a bull's face, and an eagle's face, and 4 wings, straight legs, feet like calf's hooves, everything shining, as if it were polished bronze under intense light. And here's an important detail. In chapter 1, he doesn't give a name. He only describes, because some visions are so great that at first you can only say, I saw, and it was real. But later in chapter 10, he identifies cherubim. Here we need to dismantle the popular image. A cherub is not a cute little angel. It is not a winged baby decoration. In the Bible, cherubim are associated with the presence of God. They guard, they serve, they execute the divine will. When Eden is closed, cherubim appear as guardians. When the most holy place is described, cherubim appear as symbols of reverence and protection. And on the Ark of the Covenant, God commands to place cherubim over the mercy seat, as if saying, this place is holy, this place is meeting, this place is presence. So when Ezekiel sees cherubim in exile, the message is strong. God's presence did not stay behind. Now, why 4 faces? Ezekiel doesn't stop to make a dictionary, but the vision communicates. The human face suggests intelligence, the lion, strength and authority, the bull, service, firmness, endurance, the eagle, nobility, height, vision. It's as if all of creation were represented there, the human, the wild, the domestic, the sky. And then comes a detail that almost goes unnoticed, but is crucial. They move in a straight line, without turning their faces, without hesitation, without adjusting, as if their movement were perfect, as if the mission had no doubt. The idea is this: there is no improvisation in God's throne. There is precision. And now comes the part that no one forgets. Next to each being, Ezekiel sees a wheel on the ground, and the appearance of these wheels is like shining stone, something precious, luminous, almost cutting to the eyes. And then comes the phrase that explodes the imagination. It was as if one wheel was inside another. In other words, It is not an ordinary wheel. It is a system that suggests movement in any direction without needing to turn. If you want a modern image, think of a gyroscope, a mechanism with multiple axes, adjusting direction without losing stability. Only here, it's not cold metal, it's a living reality. It is as if the vision says, there is a movement you don't understand, but it is coordinated, and there's more. The wheels were tall, impressive, and full of eyes all around. Eyes. Everywhere. Ezekiel repeats as if he wants you to understand. When the beings moved, the wheels moved with them. When the beings rose, the wheels rose. Nothing is disconnected. Nothing is out of place, as if everything were a living, synchronized, perfect mechanism. And he concludes with a deliberately repeated phrase, the spirit of the living creature was in the wheels. In other words, it is not a machine. It is not chance. It is will. It is direction. It is purpose. So, what does this mean? The eyes are not scary decorations. They convey an idea. God sees. God knows. Nothing escapes. Nothing is concealed. No tear goes unnoticed. No exile is invisible. And the omnidirectional movement of the wheels communicates something else. God is present, not confined to a temple, not limited to a country, not controlled by geography. This is vital for a man in exile, because exile tries to convince you that you have been left behind. But this vision shouts, God is still on the throne, and more, the throne is not stationary. It moves, it governs, it reaches. Ezekiel describes something like a bright expanse, like crystal above the creatures. The sound of the wings is like abundant waters, like a roar, like a military camp, order, power, presence. And then he sees a throne, and on the throne, a figure with a human appearance, but surrounded by fire, brightness, glory. And here enters one of the most beautiful details. In the middle of this scene that could just be fear, Ezekiel sees a rainbow amidst the storm, as if, in the midst of the supernatural terror, God placed a seal. I am still God. I am still faithful. I still remember my promise. And here is the point. Maybe you are not in Babylon, but you might be in an emotional exile, a place where you feel you've lost direction, lost footing, lost hope. Exile is when life seems to say, it's over, you've been left behind. You have no place anymore. God is not here. Ezekiel learns the opposite. God's throne is not stationary. It is in motion, in providence, in action, without chaos, without delay, without error. Even when you don't understand the path, the throne keeps moving forward. So the most mysterious angel might not be a famous name, but this vision that mixes cherubim and wheels, which later traditions called the Ophanim, to show a simple and overwhelming truth. God is present. God sees everything. God remains in control. And if you want, in the next video I'll break down. Are Ophanim really angels? Or are they the mechanism of the throne? And why this image inspired so much fascination in the ancient Jewish world. If you want this next, comment, continue.